You know, sometimes I get to thinking about some things, and a lot of times when I start to dwell on something that some of my subscribers sees me, as they say, don't go down that rabbit hole, Dauber. But, you know, how do I keep from going down that rabbit hole? I was going I was getting up, getting in my wheelchair, and I was started in the living room, and all of a sudden I stopped. Just a dead stop, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about my wife. Thoughts like, is she really gone, you know? And $48 years, it's a long time. It's almost a half a century of being with somebody, being in a relationship with sometime, good times, bad times, but 48 years. And then I get to thinking, is she really gone? Will I ever see her again? Gosh. But how can you not go down that cotton picking rabbit hole occasionally, or sometimes a lot? Just thinking about all the times, you know, all the sad times that we had, the happy times we had. And there's nothing I can do about it. Oh. Gosh. Folks, if you still got your other half with you, God's sakes, enjoy it. Because at some point, one of you is going to leave. One of you is going to be gone. And you know, I mean, I know I have my daughter and I have my 3 grandsons. And I would be totally lost without them. But I'm totally lost in one sense without my wife. But it would be so much worse if I didn't have my grandsons and my daughter. I worry about my daughter's health. Like other morning when she come in, she had just been to the drugstore and got her meds. And that cost her about $150. But one of the most important ones of all of the meds is the insulin. She couldn't afford to get her insulin. So she's going without her insulin. And I worry about that so much. And I feel so bad in a way that I don't have a problem with my insulin. With any of my meds, I don't have a problem with it. I wish sometime way back, right after she got out of high school, I wish she'd have joined the military and got 2 or 3 years behind her before she could be on the free meds right now. But then, if she'd have joined the military, I probably wouldn't have Donovan. Donovan would have never happened. But it's crazy some of the things I think about, you know. And maybe if she'd have joined the military, I wouldn't have Donovan, I wouldn't have Joey, I wouldn't have Jaden. Who knows? Oh, I got to shave. That's all there is to it. Oh. I don't know. That's just like almost saying, well, instead of sending Robin to get my son at school and bring him for his doctor's appointment, maybe if I'd have went, maybe he wouldn't be dead. Life is full of what ifs. Maybe I should, or maybe I could have did this, or should have did that. We got no way of knowing if we'd have changed a certain day in our life, how different things would be. Oh. And then I get thinking, another rabbit hole I keep going down is I didn't do a good job raising my family. Or when my wife got up that night to go to the bathroom, that was the one time I didn't get up, because she always had a history of falling and stuff. So if she got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I would go with her. And sometimes sit there and hold her hand. But I didn't go that night, and she fell, had a nasty wound on the back of her head. and she was in the hospital about 2 weeks, and she was going home the next day. I went to visit her that night, and the last thing she said to me, I was at work, and I went on my lunch break, and so about 9 o'clock, I had to go back to work. This is when I was working at Walmart. And she was writing notes and stuff, people she wanted to contact about being so hard to get along with and everything. They had got her meds straightened out. Her mind was clear and sharp that night. And I was getting up to walk out the door. She said, when you come to pick me up tomorrow, she's going home the next day. She said, when you come to pick me up, would you bring me just a little sip of Pepsi? She wanted a soda. And I'm like, baby, I sure will. And then when I got back to work, about 30 minutes after I got back to work, the hospital called. Said something's happened with my wife. She wasn't responsive and stuff, and at that time she was having a stroke. I didn't know it at that minute, but she was having a stroke. And from that point on, she was brain dead. They had her on a, what do they call it, respirator, where they run that thing down a throat and it breathes for them. And after about a week of that, they wanted to tell me that I need to think about taking her off of life support, but I wouldn't do it. I held on about another week. And I made that decision. But you know, it's like when she fell that night in the bathroom, I feel like I failed her because I wasn't in there with her like I should have been. And the day my son died in that accident, instead of me going to pick him up at school for his doctor's appointment, I sent Robin, the girl that was driving the car that they were both killed in that day. I let Robin go pick. She worked for me through the high school, and I let her go. So I wasn't there for my son. I should have been the one going after him. And maybe if I had, maybe I'd have been the one pulled out in front of that big old Greyhound bus. And for the most part, I don't dwell on this stuff, but sometimes, just like going in there in the living room today and all of a sudden coming to a dead stop, and is my wife really gone? I call her Sue. Is Sue really gone? And I'm very much aware how fragile life is, that somebody can be here 1 second, the next second they're gone. And when my the other day, when my daughter and Jaden and Joey Me and Donovan stayed home, but they went to Salt Springs for Joey's birthday, July 15th. And I'm like, it worries the crap out of me when they're out there and I can't. If they needed me right then, I wouldn't be there for them. I'd be sitting here at home. I worry about things. I worry about especially automobile accidents. I worry about so much. And I can't help it, but I just do. Every little thing. I worry about my daughter being not well. She's diabetic. And what do they call that when they have hypertension? That she's wound up tighter than a drum all the time. And she gets upset real easy. And I worry about something happening to her, and then I won't say I would be sitting here stuck with Jaden, because it wouldn't be stuck. It would be part of my life. And then it would just be me and the boys. Think a lot about my son. By the way, his name was Russell M. Pearson III. My dad was a senior, I was a junior, and my son was the third. Never gonna have any children from him. Life is it's so cruel sometimes. It's so wonderful sometimes. But the thing that I hate about life so much is that everybody in this world is gonna die at some point. And they're gonna have loved ones, that goes through that. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. I guess this is all part of life. When I decided I wanted to do a YouTube channel, and when I started it, I think when I started it, you only had to have 500 subscribers before you can be monetized. I'm not sure that's what it was then. But I'm thinking if I can get enough subscribers, I can earn some part-time money. Well, I've been doing this since 2017, and I, I've actually got more money. I won't say earned money because it's money that some of my subscribers gave me. And I guess I've probably, in gifts that people donated to me and stuff, my subscribers, it's probably around $1,000. It's probably around $1,000. But as for the money that I've made off of my YouTube channel for my ads and stuff, it's probably maybe $400. What's that? There's a cat or something in here. Oh, come on, dog. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go ahead. Maybe $400. And this is the longest I've ever gone without a check from YouTube. I think I've got about $40 in ads revenue. So I've got another 1 or 2 months before I have enough to get another around $100 check from YouTube. I pretty much give up on making any decent income on YouTube. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think I have I just don't think I have it in me to come up with a different kind of channel with content and stuff that's gonna get me, and I need about 10,000 subscribers, I think, to make a couple of $100 a month. And I don't see that happening. I only have about 35 or 40 views per video, and that's not enough viewership to make anything. A month ago I had 1,311 subscribers. I'm down to 1,304 subscribers, so I've lost half a dozen or so subscribers. And I started to GoFundMe a while back about wanting to get me that bigger scooter where I could actually travel around and make some decent videos. But I'm at around $300. I wish now I hadn't have started it. I wish I could just give all the money back. But GoFundMe, you know, they take their cut, so I don't even have the total amount of money that was given to me on GoFundMe. I don't have that money, and if I was going to give it back, I would have to give back, like, well, for instance, I'm having a senior moment. She gave me $30. I was so humbled by that. It was Elena from Christy and Marty, you know, on the Crazy Family Tube. It was their daughter. She gave me $30. So if I was going to refund the whole $30, I would have. I've got about 26 or $27 because GoFundMe took part of that. So I'd actually have to put money to it to send it back. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't want to take and spend it for something other than what it was intended to be spent for. But to do that, I'm going to have about $2,600 more dollars. No, I'm going to have about $3,000 more dollars put into it to have enough to buy that scooter. I feel like if I could get that scooter, matter of fact, I even went on Amazon. I'm thinking maybe I could buy it on credit, put what I got towards it, and buy it on credit with the Amazon credit card. And my credit score is 710, which is not bad. So I applied for the credit card, thinking I should be able to get the credit card no problem. But here's the thing. When you get up around my age, it's hard. You can have excellent credit, but without the income to back that up, you're not going to get approved for it. Plus, like right now, if I was to want to go buy another house and get a mortgage and all that stuff, it would be almost impossible for me to get a mortgage, because at 80, almost 82, they know I ain't got much longer left to walk the face of this earth. And I have a VA. I can get a VA loan, but now I don't think I can, even though I've got a certificate for about $30,000. But you can't buy a house for that. So at my age, things become a lot more difficult as far as finances concerned. And my total income is only about $900 a month, of which I only get $750 of that because that stinking government takes part of that for that that deal where they paid for repairs on my house and then said they paid me $10,058 too much. And they've been taking that out. But they have to leave me at least $750, like that's enough to live on. So after I get my $750, I give my daughter $600 of that. That leaves me $150. And if I wasn't on the VA, I'd be SOL. In case y'all don't, some people actually don't know what SOL means. My grandson didn't know what that meant, my oldest one. And I was telling him, I'll be SOL. And he said, what does that mean? And I was like, shit out of luck. But yeah, I think a lot. Think about a lot of stuff. I sure wish my baby was here with me. I'm talking about my wife, you know, and my son. And every time somebody dies, you know, like a singer, a popular singer or something, and like one I really like, and I like George Jones. And when somebody like that passes away like he did, I'm thinking, it crosses my mind, what a waste that is. All that talent, it's gone. His voice is still. You know, all those popular singers that I like, and people that I had a great amount of respect for, when they die, that is, the talent is gone. I had a lot of respect for different politicians and stuff, and when they're gone, all of that is gone. Like President Kennedy, when he died, you know, he was a great man, I thought. But a lot of stuff's come out since he passed away that maybe he wasn't so great after all. Same thing with Harry Truman. I had a great amount of respect for Harry Truman. But then after he died, I started picking up on some of this stuff that he had this biggest disappointment with Douglas MacArthur, the general. And with Roosevelt, you know, there's things come out. You know, maybe they weren't so great, but they were, you know. And Roosevelt, he started Social Security and all that stuff. Ronald Reagan, great person, made a lot of sense. just people when they die, everything they've done, everything they've accomplished, everything they stood for, all of a sudden it's gone. All they've got is their legacy. Oh. Am I getting too deep for you folks? It's just things I think about, you know. Oh, and like George Bush the fifth, the first George Bush. He was a World War II veteran. He was a Navy, or was he a Marine pilot? He was a fighter pilot. I've got a picture of him. I'm gonna hang it on my wall one day of him being rescued out in the ocean where he crashed, was shot down, and he's coming aboard this submarine. They picked him up off of this raft, you know. And a lot of people can say a lot of things about George Bush, but by dang, he got in that airplane and he fought. He fought. And he was shot down, and so he could have been killed there and there never would have been no more Bush presidents. Jimmy Carter. He was a Navy officer. Just, you know, so many great people that made this country work, made this country what it is. And I'm so afraid that if another world war ever come around, I think there'd be more Americans sitting on their hands and not doing nothing than there would be to fight that war. Hopefully, I hope there's never any more of those wars. But you know what's it say in the Bible? There'll always be wars and rumors of wars. You would think, as smart as the human population is now, that we could see the bad ways of war and killing each other. You think we could see that and know that that's not going to be it. That's not going to solve anything, and I've got a pain in that finger. Oh. But yeah, just don't go down that rabbit hole again, Dauber. And I got so many rabbit holes I can go down. I have a lot of remorse now about the last years of my mama's life. I think in hindsight I should have been the bigger person. Even though I can't remember I'm sure at some point in my life she might have said, "I love you, Mackie." But I can't pick one. I can't remember one, not one time. But I wish I'd have told my mama I loved her. She was a terrible person, but I loved her. My daddy, I don't see how my grandparents, my granddaddy and grandmama Pearson, They raised 10 kids. And out of them 10 kids, there was my daddy and Uncle Jack and Uncle Aubrey. My daddy and Uncle Aubrey was alcoholics. And Uncle Jack, he spent 2 or 3 little stretches up a place called Dick's Hill, which was Dorothea Dick's mental hospital in, I think Raleigh, North Carolina. He was up there a couple of times. Plus, Uncle Jack supposedly, I don't know this to be a fact, but Aunt Mamie was talking about it at the family reunion one time about Uncle Jack and my mama having an affair. Now, Uncle Jack was my daddy's brother. But those 3 doozies right there, they weren't so great. Uncle Jack had 2 great sons, I can tell you that. And he was married to Aunt Mamie, and that was my favorite aunt. But all the rest of my aunts and uncles, fantastic people. Fantastic. So 7 out of the 10 was great people. They weren't extremely wealthy, but they did okay. Most of them were farmers. One of my aunts, her husband was a Methodist minister. Aunt Rosa May and her husband was farmers, and her husband was a World War II veteran. Uncle J.B. spent over 20 years in the Navy. Aunt Bertha Lewis was married to a farmer. Aunt Ann was married to a farmer. Aunt Ruby was married to some kind of factory manager that made socks. It's a textile mill. Aunt Dorothy, she was married to a gentleman by the name of Mahood Winkler. Mahood, that's right. And he was the president and CEO of Virginia Life Insurance Company. My Uncle Aubrey, his only claim to fame was he worked at the White House. And I heard that all my life. Uncle Aubrey worked at the White House. Well, what happened, Truman closed the White House down because it needed renovating. And it took him a couple of years to do it. And he worked in there then. He was a carpenter or something. Uncle Aubrey, he sure loved that bottle. Now, Uncle Aubrey, he was the father of the twins. You know, I called them my kissing cousins. But I guess I'm rambling on about nothing in particular. I seen a guy today. I was out on my scooter. I was trying to beat, I knew it was fixing to rain, and I was trying to beat the rain back home. And this guy had 2 dogs. And the guy appeared to be homeless. He had a shopping cart full of stuff, and he had 2 dogs on a leash. And it was thundering and stuff, and the dog was petrified. And they was trying to get up under the cart and stuff like that, and he was hitting them. I don't know what he was using to hit them with, but he was hitting them with something. But I stopped there and I said, and I was referring to his life. He was homeless. And I was referring to, I said, I'm sorry about your luck, old man, but if I could, I'd get up out of this chair and beat your ass. That's what I told him. And he started pushing that cart and dragging them dogs along with him. I can't see people beating dogs like that, beating any kind of animal like that. But that's what he was doing. My daughter had 3 packages, and it said Boston butt country rib style, and it was cut up into short pieces, and it'd been sitting, it'd been there about 3 or 4 days, and they weren't froze. So I put them all, I turned the oven on to 375 and put some foil down in a big bake pan, and I put them things in there and I covered them up with foil, and I baked them things for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then I took the foil off the top and browned them a little bit for about 20 minutes. And I got them out, let them cool down, and I broke them all off the bones, put them in a big container, and poured, get what brand of barbecue sauce it was, but them things was delicious. Fix them up. I don't know if my daughter took any to work with her or not, but they were good. They were good. Well, folks, I guess I've gone down enough rabbit holes tonight. Been thinking about Barbara Everett's husband passing away and her having to move out of her place into, she's moving in with her brother. So he lives alone, so maybe they'll be company for each other. And I think about Mary Beth. I don't know how Mary Beth's doing. Don't know. I used to hear from her all the time. She calls me her bestie. And my memory is really getting terrible. Really getting terrible. Oh man, I can recall a lot of stuff, but it takes me a while to remember it. But anyway, I guess that's enough rabbit holes to go down tonight. That's my story, folks, right now, and I'm sticking to it. Hey, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya. All right, here. Y'all have a good one.